What if I told you that Argentina's 2026 World Cup run has not just been about goals, comebacks, and Messi magic? What if I told you that almost every step of their tournament has come with a decision, a VAR call, a missed card, or a refereeing moment that made people stop and say, wait. How did Argentina get away with that? One controversial decision is football. Two controversial decisions is bad luck. Three controversial decisions is a pattern. But when it keeps happening, game after game, opponent after opponent, and the same team keeps benefiting every single time, at some point, people stop calling it coincidence. They start calling it protection, and right now that is exactly what people are accusing FIFA of doing. Algeria filed a complaint, Egypt filed a complaint. Fans are slowing down match footage frame by frame. Former players are speaking out. Coaches are choosing their words carefully. And all over the football world, one question keeps getting louder. Is Argentina being protected? Now, I'm not here to say I know the answer. Nobody outside FIFA's inner circle knows the answer. But what I can do is show you the pattern, every match. Every suspicious call, every VAR decision, every moment where Argentina got the benefit of the doubt. Because once you see all of them together, it starts to look very different. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. Argentina's first match of the tournament was against Algeria, the defending champions, the biggest player in the world, the global superstar, Lionel Messi. Against Algeria, a team that knew they had to be almost perfect to pull off an upset. And within the first half, the first controversy of Argentina's World Cup had already arrived. Messi went in on Algeria captain Asa Mandy. It was from behind, it was high, it was dangerous, and it caught Mandy on the calf. Now, in modern football, we all know what happens when a player goes studs up from behind. At minimum, you expect a yellow card. A lot of the time, it becomes a red. Especially in a tournament where FIFA keeps talking about player safety. But this was Messi. The referee saw it, VAR looked at it, and somehow nothing, no yellow, no red. Not even a serious warning. Messi stayed on the pitch, and that one decision changed the entire match, because Messi didn't just stay on the pitch. He went on to score a hat trick. Argentina won 3-0, and the story became Messi magic, Messi history, Messi carrying Argentina again. But wait, what if that tackle was made by an Algerian defender on Messi? What if a defender went through Messi from behind, studs up, caught him on the calf, and then didn't even get booked? Would the world have reacted the same way? Would VAR have stayed quiet? Would the referee have just waved play on? That's the question Algeria were asking. And they weren't just angry online, they filed an official complaint. But the Messi tackle was not the only moment they complained about. In the second half, Alexis Mac Allister appeared to catch Ibrahim Maza with an elbow. Again, Algeria wanted punishment. Again, no serious action. Again, Argentina escaped. So in the very first match of the tournament, Argentina had two major disciplinary incidents. Messi could have been sent off. Mac Allister could have been punished. Neither was. Argentina won comfortably, and everyone moved on, because when it happens once, people say it's just football, but it didn't happen once. Then came Austria, Argentina's second match, a quieter game, less chaos, less screaming, less drama, but still another moment that raised eyebrows. Early in the match, Argentina were awarded a penalty after VAR got involved. Now, was there contact? Yes. Was it enough for a penalty? That depends who you ask. Because this is exactly where football becomes dangerous. When the same type of contact is ignored for one team but punished for another. Messi stepped up and missed. The goalkeeper saved it. So a lot of people said, who cares? He missed anyway. But that is not how this works. A soft penalty being missed does not make the decision disappear. Because the issue is not just whether Argentina scored from it. The issue is that Argentina got the call, they got VAR intervention. They got the chance. They got the benefit. And later in the same game, Argentina still won 2-0, with Messi scoring both goals. And after the Egypt controversy, fans started going back through the Austria match. They started looking at the build-up to Argentina's goals. They started asking whether fouls were missed. They started asking why VAR was so eager to step in for Argentina, but not always so eager to step in against them. At the time, it didn't explode. Because Argentina won comfortably. Austria didn't file a huge public complaint. The world moved on. But the pattern was quietly growing. 2 matches, 2 wins, 2 games where Argentina got the decisions that mattered. And then came Jordan. Argentina versus Jordan, the final group game. Argentina won 3-1. Messi came off the bench and scored again. The headlines were about history. 7 straight World Cup matches with a goal. Another Messi moment. Another Argentina win. And to be fair, this match did not have the same level of controversy as Algeria or Egypt. No massive official complaint. No VAR explosion. No worldwide outrage. But that almost makes the story even more interesting, because this was the one match where Argentina didn't need help. They were already in control, they were better, they won the group. And they finished the group stage with a perfect record, 3 matches, 3 wins, Messi scoring, Argentina rolling. But underneath the celebration, the noise was already starting. Algeria had already complained. Austria had already had a questionable VAR penalty. And Argentina were about to enter the knockout rounds. This is where everything changes, because in the group stage, people forget controversial decisions. In the knockout stage, one decision can end a country's World Cup, and Argentina's first knockout match nearly became one of the biggest shocks in World Cup history. Argentina versus Cape Verde. On paper, this should not have been close. The defending world champions against a World Cup debutante, a country with a tiny population compared to Argentina. A team that was supposed to be proud just to be there. But Cape Verde did not come to take pictures. They came to fight. And they pushed Argentina all the way. This was not a comfortable win. This was not a routine knockout performance. This went to extra time. Argentina were surviving, not dominating. And then in the 111th minute, Argentina got the winner. Not from a perfect Messi free kick. Not from a beautiful team move, not from a world-class finish, an own goal. That is how close Argentina came to disaster. They survived Cape Verde 3-2 after extra time. And yes, this match did not produce the same kind of official refereeing complaint as Algeria or Egypt, but it matters for a different reason. Because this match showed something important. Argentina were vulnerable. They were not some unstoppable machine. They could be pressed. They could be pushed. They could be taken to the edge. And once the tournament got serious, Argentina were not walking through teams. They were escaping. First Algeria complained. Then Austria raised questions. Then Cape Verde nearly shocked the world. And then came the match that turned suspicion into a global debate. Argentina versus Egypt. This is where everything exploded. Round of 16. A place in the quarter-finals on the line. Messi's dream of another World Cup still alive. The defending champions under pressure, and Egypt came out fearless. They were not scared of the shirt. They were not scared of Messi. They were not scared of the moment. Yasser Ibrahim scored, Egypt 1, Argentina 0. Then Mostafa Zico scored, Egypt 2, Argentina 0. And for a while it looked like this was going to be one of the greatest upsets in World Cup history. Argentina looked broken, Messi looked frustrated, Egypt looked hungry. And then Messi got a penalty. Again. Another Argentina penalty, another chance to change the game. Messi stepped up and missed. Again, the goalkeeper saved it. That made the drama even crazier. Because now Argentina had missed another penalty in the tournament. They were 2-0 down. They looked finished. And then came the decision that changed everything. The disallowed Egypt goal. Before Egypt's second official goal, Mostafa Zico had already put the ball in the net. Egypt thought they had doubled their lead. The players celebrated, the fans exploded. Argentina looked stunned. But then VAR stepped in, and VAR did not just check the final action. VAR went all the way back. They found an incident involving Marwan Atiyah and Lisandro Martinez, a shirt pull. A step on the foot, a foul in the build-up, and because of that, Egypt's goal was wiped away. Now listen carefully. This is the type of decision that drives fans insane. Because yes, by the letter of the law, you can argue there was contact. You can argue there was a foul. You can argue VAR had the right to intervene. But football fans are not stupid. They know the question is not only, was there contact? The real question is, would VAR have gone that far back if Argentina had scored that goal? Would they have searched the entire attacking phase? Would they have hunted for a tiny shirt pull? Would they have slowed everything down until they found a reason to cancel it? Because that is what Egypt's fans believe happened. They believe VAR went looking for a reason, And once people believe that, trust is gone. But it did not stop there, because Egypt still went 2-0 up. They still had Argentina on the ropes. And then came another massive moment. Mohamed Salah inside the box, one of the biggest players in the world, Egypt's leader, Egypt's icon. He gets challenged by Julian Alvarez. Egypt scream for a penalty. The players surround the referee. The fans are furious. To many watching, it looked like there was contact. It looked like Salah had a real case. But the referee said no. VAR checked it. No penalty. And this is where the anger becomes impossible to ignore. When Argentina needed a penalty, they got one. When Egypt wanted one, they were told no. When Egypt scored, VAR went backwards. When Argentina were in trouble, the decisions started falling their way. And then came the winning goal, the moment that ended Egypt's World Cup. Argentina attacked. The ball moved forward. Enzo Fernandez scored in stoppage time. Argentina 3, Egypt 2. The comeback was complete, but Egypt were not looking at the celebration. They were looking at the build-up. Because they believed Alexis Mac Allister fouled Hamdi Fathi before the goal. They wanted VAR. They wanted the same forensic investigation that had been used against them. They wanted the same standard. But this time, nothing, no long delay, no dramatic review. No deep search through the build-up. Argentina's goal stood, Egypt were out. And that is the entire controversy in one sentence. When Egypt scored, VAR went looking. When Argentina scored, VAR went silent. That is why this match became so explosive. Not because one call was wrong, because the standard looked different. Strict for Egypt, soft for Argentina. Detailed against Egypt. Relaxed for Argentina. And when that happens in a World Cup knockout match, people do not just get angry. They start asking if the tournament itself is being managed. After the match, Egypt did not stay quiet. Their coach, Hassam Hassan, called it an injustice. Egypt's Football Association criticized the refereeing and the use of VAR. They demanded answers. They wanted accountability. They wanted to know why the same technology seemed to treat two teams differently. And FIFA responded through refereeing chief Pierluigi Collina. He defended the decisions. He said the officials acted correctly. He rejected bias claims. He basically said the controversy was overblown, but here is the problem. When the losing team says injustice, when fans around the world are replaying the clips, when two different federations in the same tournament have complained about Argentina matches, a statement from FIFA does not end the conversation. It makes people ask even more questions, because FIFA defending FIFA is not exactly shocking. So now let's zoom out, because if this were only about Egypt, people could dismiss it. They could say it was one emotional knockout match. They could say Egypt were angry because they lost. They could say VAR is always controversial, but this is not just Egypt. Look at the full run. Argentina versus Algeria. Messi makes a dangerous tackle from behind, no card. Mac Allister is accused of an elbow, no major punishment. Algeria files a complaint. Argentina wins 3-0. Argentina versus Austria. VAR gives Argentina an early penalty. Messi misses, but Argentina still get the benefit of the intervention. Argentina wins 2-0. Argentina versus Jordan. Cleanest match of the run. Argentina wins 3-1. Argentina versus Cape Verde. Argentina are pushed to extra time by a debutante. They survive through a late own goal. Argentina wins 3-2. Argentina versus Egypt. Egypt have a goal disallowed after VAR goes deep into the build-up. Salah is denied a penalty. Argentina's winning goal survives despite Egypt claiming there was a foul in the build-up. Egypt files a complaint. Argentina wins 3-2. Do you see the pattern? When Argentina are comfortable, the story is Messi magic. When Argentina are in trouble, something always seems to happen. A missed red card, a soft penalty, a VAR intervention, a goal disallowed. A penalty denied, a build-up ignored. And somehow every time Argentina survive, maybe it is luck, maybe it is coincidence, maybe the referees are just inconsistent. But how many coincidences does it take before people are allowed to ask questions? Because this is the World Cup. This is not a friendly. This is not a random league match. This is the biggest sporting event on the planet. And Argentina are not just any team. They are the defending champions. They have Messi. They have the biggest global storyline. They have the most marketable player in football history trying to write one final chapter. And that is exactly why people are suspicious. Because let's be honest. A World Cup with Messi still in it is bigger business than a World Cup without Messi. More viewers, more headlines, more sponsors, more shirts, more clips, more emotion, more money. So when the calls keep going Argentina's way, people are going to ask the obvious question. Is this just football, or is football being protected as a product? And then, just when the Argentina controversy was already loud enough, FIFA made a decision that somehow made everything worse. France versus Morocco, a massive quarter-final. France, one of Argentina's biggest rivals, a potential future opponent for Argentina, a team with history, tension, and bad blood with Argentina after 2022. And who does FIFA appoint? Facundo Tello, an Argentinian referee, with Argentinian officials around him. Now, to be clear, France are playing Morocco, not Argentina, but come on, everybody knows how this looks. France and Argentina have history. The 2022 final, the celebrations, the chants, the Mbappe comments, the tension between the players, the rivalry between fan bases. And now an Argentinian crew is involved in a match that could affect France's path in the tournament. Even if nothing suspicious happens, why create the appearance of a conflict? That is the part people cannot understand. At this level, perception matters, neutrality matters, trust matters. And when the whole football world is already arguing about whether Argentina are getting favorable treatment, putting Argentinian officials on a France match is the kind of decision that makes people say, are they even trying to avoid suspicion? Didier Deschamps tried to stay calm. He said the opponent is Morocco, not the referee. That is the professional answer. That is what a coach has to say, but everyone noticed. The media noticed. The fans noticed. The players probably noticed. And the timing could not have been worse, because now the controversy is no longer just about Argentina's matches. It is about the whole tournament environment around Argentina. And this is why people are connecting it back to 2022, because we have heard this conversation before. In Qatar, Argentina won the World Cup. Messi got his dream ending. The fairy tale was complete. But even then, not everyone was convinced. People complained about penalties. They complained about stoppage time. They complained about how aggressive Argentina were allowed to be. They complained about refereeing in the final. They complained about Argentina's extra time goal against France. They complained about substitutes stepping onto the pitch. At the time, most people dismissed it. They said it was bitterness. They said it was jealousy. They said people just didn't want Messi to win, and maybe some of that was true. But now, in 2026, the same type of conversation is happening again. Same team. Same player, same accusations. Same feeling that when Argentina need a decision, somehow they get it. And that is why the 2026 controversy feels bigger. Because it does not feel isolated anymore. It feels like a continuation. A second chapter. Another tournament where Argentina's biggest moments are surrounded by refereeing debates. And the more it happens, the harder it becomes to ignore. Now, to be fair, FIFA and refereeing experts have pushed back strongly. They say there is no bias. They say the referees are independent. They say the VAR decisions were made according to the laws of the game. They say the disallowed Egypt goal was correct because a foul is still a foul, even if fans do not like how far back VAR went. And that is a real argument. Football is emotional. Fans see what they want to see. Every big team gets accused of being protected. Every World Cup has controversial decisions. And if you review every match in slow motion, you can probably find something to complain about. That is true. But here is the problem. VAR was supposed to end these arguments. Instead, it has made them worse. Because now people do not only argue about what the referee saw, they argue about what VAR chose to check, what VAR ignored, how far back VAR went, how long VAR looked, which angles VAR showed, which angles never appeared, and that is where trust disappears. Because the question is no longer only, was the decision right? The question is, was the same standard applied to both teams? And in Argentina's run, a lot of people believe the answer is no. So is the World Cup rigged? I am not going to sit here and say I have secret documents. I am not going to pretend I know what FIFA executives are thinking. I am not going to say every referee is corrupt, but I will say this. When one team keeps benefiting, when multiple opponents complain, when VAR looks strict against Argentina's opponents but lenient toward Argentina, when Messi avoids punishment for challenges that other players might not survive, when Egypt's goal gets pulled back but Argentina's winner does not get the same treatment, when an Argentinian referee crew gets placed on a France quarter-final. During the same tournament, people are not crazy for asking questions. That is not conspiracy, that is pattern recognition, and maybe the answer is simple. Maybe the referees are just bad, maybe VAR is too inconsistent, maybe Argentina are just lucky. Maybe big teams always get big team calls. But if that is true, then football has another problem. Because if the rules are technically the same, but the biggest teams always seem to get more protection, then is that really fair? Is that really sport? Or is that just entertainment with a referee? So here is where we stand. Argentina are still alive, Messi is still alive, the dream is still alive, but so are the questions. Algeria complained, Egypt complained. Austria had a soft-looking VAR penalty go against them. Cape Verde pushed Argentina to the edge. Egypt had a goal disallowed, a penalty appeal denied, and a winning goal controversy ignored. And now even referee appointments are being questioned. Maybe Argentina are just the luckiest team in the tournament. Maybe this is all bad refereeing. Maybe the football world is overreacting. Or maybe, just maybe, everyone is seeing the same thing because there is something there. So I'll ask you, is Argentina being protected? Is Messi getting special treatment? Is FIFA desperate to keep the biggest story in football alive? Or is this just the chaos of the World Cup? Tell me what you think in the comments. And subscribe, because if Argentina keep advancing, this conversation is only going to get louder.